Welcome, everybody, to the PHDJ Podcast. My name is Mike.
Yo, it's Joe.
How you doing there, Joe?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. we are going to be talking, as well. I think this has become an annual tradition, I think, after the VMAs, after the MTV Video Music Awards, and we usually also do after the Grammys. We kind of do a show recap because you and I both watched the show on Sunday night, correct?
We did. I watched it in real time, or sort of real time, and then you had a show.
I had a wedding Sunday night, but I rolled in about 10 and or 10, as you would say.
10.
And yeah, I mean, I had recorded it, so I watched it on, kind of fast forward, like
hyperspeed, right?
Yeah, going through the commercials. And I'll be honest with you, some of the performances, there were a couple performances that I got a minute in, and I go, I get it. I get what we're going for here. FF. And yeah, I think I was done watching it at like 11:45. So I watched a 3-hour show in an hour and 45 minutes.
Okay.
So yeah, reasonable.
Before we get into that, so you have completed a project that had been on your to-do list.
Yes,
do you want to touch on that?
Bringing that up. So yeah, and thank you for your commercial. Joe actually cut a spot for me. Yeah, the seminar that I did in Chicago and also in Atlantic City, Get With the Programming.
Fantastic.
I had it professionally recorded in Atlantic City. And much like I did a few years ago with my Why People Dance seminar, I now have it available on DJMikeWalter.com. And I know you were kind of scolding me too. You think $29.99 is too cheap? Am I giving this thing away?
It's low. Get it right now, because when we get off,
Joe's
I'm going to make it like
$299.99. Yeah, so
it's going to be $300 by Friday.
It's available for $30 as of now. Maybe my next week that might change. But thank you,
dude. It was really good. By the way, so I sprint out of the airport, hop in a car, drive an hour from Philly, walk in at like, let's say 1:15, which is exactly what Mike had predicted
on this air. You can go back a couple weeks.
Did you cut that part out though?
Joe, I didn't, because I actually thought about it, because I'm like, this doesn't make any sense to anyone who wasn't in the room.
Right.
But there wasn't a natural spot. It would have seemed like an awkward edit. So I just kept it in. Yeah.
Awesome.
And I actually got a decent joke, because I said that I said, hey, Joe just showed up. I said, hey, you guys don't mind if I just start over from the beginning? And that got a little bit of a chuckle. So yeah, there was no natural spot to edit that
run
out.
Run it back to the top.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. And
yeah, man.
Awesome. to our loyal listeners, if you're interested, head to DJMikeWalter.com.
I'm going to throw in one more side plug real quick, just because of TikTok. And I called Mike a couple of weeks ago.
You are blowing up on TikTok.
I do.
I'm glad I could help you.
You did help tremendously for the idea and to get me started on it. And I said, Mike, I think you should take like a little snippet from the book each day and kind of read it or tell the story. Mike's like, I'm slammed. And I was like, well, can I just borrow the book and do it? It's sitting on my coffee table every day. And he's like, go for it. And somehow a poorly told story of Eric Clapton's Wonderful Tonight ended up me going from 880 followers to 20,000.
So that was the one that blew you up, huh?
Yes. It has 600,000 views. And now
in the book, that is one of my favorite stories.
I was about to say.
How Wonderful Tonight was written is one of my, and it's actually one of the stories that got me interested in writing that book, because it made me realize, there's background stories to so many songs and albums and everything else, and I wanted to discover more and share them. So
don't tell the story, but we're not going to tell the story, and we're not going to tell you to go to TikTok. I'll tell you to do this, and we have a shortened link for you now.
That's right.
OTDIM.com, onthisdateinmusic.com. Right. Or you can go to otdim.com. Grab the book. Seriously. Fantastic book. All right. Let's get on with the show.
So you watched the VMAs. Give me overall viewpoint of the 3-hour show. How did you feel about the state of music in 2021?
I don't know.
Did it change your opinion at all? Was it pretty much what you expected?
It was about what I expected.
Yeah.
I, at one point, definitely questioned, am I too old for this show? And that's maybe the first time I've really done that to myself. And I'm, you and I love music. We talk about music. We listen to music. We don't shit on new artists. But there were it went through one little segment. I think it was somewhere.
The middle
maybe,
part of the show was really
I was
weak.
like,
yeah.
whoa.
I thought they started strong and I thought they ended strong. But yeah, there was the middle hour where I was like, this is a bad gig right now. This is performance after performance were just kind of lacking. And
okay. Anyway,
one of the things they did this year, they made a big deal about celebrating the 40th anniversary of MTV.
Correct. I was going to say that.
So they brought back a number of older stars who people who used to reign on MTV. And I think the miss here was I would have loved to have seen when they brought these people out just a short clip of one of their videos from back in the day. Back in the day. I thought that would have been so cool between Madonna or Ja Rule or Cyndi Lauper or any of these people that they were bringing back in. And I'm sorry, that's Donovan barking upstairs. Sorry about that, listeners. And I thought that was a little bit of a miss because, and I don't know whether they just didn't want to go back that far and remind everybody of the glory days or what it was, but I thought that was a little bit of a miss to have these iconic performers there.
I thought it was a miss as well, mainly because I could see whenever they cut the crowd, if you noticed, and especially in that pit area, that those are kids. I mean, they were let's say 20 to 30 years old.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Not even born when Madonna was around, not even born when Cyndi Lauper was around.
Right.
So why would you not just show a clip or even bring back the old VJ and let them intro them or something?
Great idea
they totally missed the mark on that. I agree.
Yeah. So right off the bat, Madonna opens the show and comes out in this leather dominatrix kind of outfit, does a quick intro. They said we wouldn't last, meaning her and MTV, which I don't know if anybody ever said that. Did anybody ever say Madonna wasn't going to last? I mean, she was a pop star and then she became an iconic pop star. I don't know that she fought against any. But anyway, then she pivots, she turns around, and her huge ass is out. Was that really her ass, do you think? Or was that a prosthetic or...
It was tremendous.
Because Madonna's in really good shape, and I don't think she's got a fat ass.
like the highest level yogi. And those type bodies are not. I don't know.
I couldn't tell.
Multiple people were talking about it. It's not just me and Mike
throwing shade at the let's face it. Nowadays, there's a number of Cardi B's and Lizzos and women Kardashians have no problem showing off their predominant derriere. I would almost say maybe J-Lo started the trend back in the day.
Could have.
But if you don't have a fat ass, you don't have to. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't even know if it was real. I
don't know either.
Completely honest, because
and I've been watching the news to see. I know there's unimportant things like the California recall going on and everything else, but this is breaking news. I want a full investigation of whether that was real or not. So,
man, I'm just more like her grill. Honestly, like that pre-tape part, I was like, who is this?
Right, but that pre-tape part, she was so glossed over and so
all these filters,
and it's sad because Madonna's in her 60s. She's kept it together for a woman that age.
Yes.
She looks, but you have to mark her on her curve. Compare her to other women in her 60s.
Right,
it goes back to kind of one of the things that Todd and I talked about. Todd Powers, by the way, I had dinner with him and his wife last night there in town. Men, we have it easier because society allows us to age.
Right.
But women, for some reason, and I think women just need to fight against this. Women should be like, fuck you. I'm getting older. I'm allowed to have gray hair. I'm allowed, you know what I mean? I don't know. I almost felt bad for Madonna because it seems like she's still trying to put up that facade of being the hot, sexy woman, but not being herself. I think she is still sexy. I'd bang her at 63. If I wasn't married, of course. Kelly's upstairs. I should qualify that. But you know what I mean? She's a sexy woman, but show your age. It's like, I don't know. Anyway.
I get it, man. I really do.
So what were some of your favorite performances of the night? What stood out to you? We're talking about the live performances now.
I'm reading through the list. Sorry, man. The show opens with Madonna, then it goes to Stay, Kid Laroi and Bieber, which is a huge song. I felt like they were singing, which I can appreciate.
I think they might have been, actually, because I felt Bieber, when Bieber did Ghost, afterwards, he hit a sour note.
He did.
And I was like, I think he's actually singing live. Good for him.
I think they both were, and I respected that. So that was okay. I mean, it's a huge song. And then, really the current reigning queen of pop, Olivia Rodrigo, came on, and she did Good For You. She was definitely singing, lost her breath a couple times. To be fair, I don't know that she's, I mean, can we count on one hand probably how many live performances she's done since she blew up in January?
Yeah, I don't know if she's been going touring. That's a great point. I don't know that she's been touring.
I don't know that she knew what to expect. You know, all the running around and the production and the excitement and the adrenaline and
so let me say this about her performance. I watch a ton of these shows, so I feel like I've seen so many performances over and over. Like we've talked about, that there's always one act that brings out the marching band, like the college marching, but that's a trope that they use all the time. I don't think I've ever seen, at the very end, she broke the glass of, now I know it wasn't the camera, they probably had a piece of glass in front of the camera, but she basically went on the final Good For You, I think she shoved the mic stand and shattered the glass. And I was like, I don't think I've ever seen that effect before. I was like, that was really cool and dramatic. Do you remember that?
I think it was real, man. I was reading an article.
So you think she broke the camera lens?
Hold on a second. I could have sworn, Rolling Stone magazine, Olivia Rodrigo broke a camera lens during her performance of Good For You. Yeah, she actually broke it.
I figured they put a piece of glass in front of her and had her break that, but that's pretty cool. I wonder what that cost her.
Right.
I mean, like in a way, we've seen the smash the guitar thing a million times, and even Machine Gun Kelly did it at the end of the show. So, I mean, that's no longer original because the Who were doing that 50 plus years ago.
Easily.
But I don't think I've ever seen that. I thought it was a cool thing.
I think it was an accident that turned into something really cool.
Good for her then.
Yeah. Man, I don't, Lil Nas X is always going to be there for the shock.
I put a star next to him. I thought his shock value and everything else. And it's so funny because I had also seen a post on Facebook. Somebody wrote, are there any artists you won't play? And I figured R. Kelly would get, but a number of people wrote Little Nas X, and they were he's satanic. And I was like, I didn't get the memo that he's now satanic. I mean, I know Montero is about the devil and all that, but I mean, you're allowed to sing. I mean, the Rolling Stones sang about the devil, and I don't think they're satanic. But yeah, I thought his performance was incredible. I thought Ed Sheeran sounded and looked great. He was outdoors in Brooklyn, and I thought he was great. I love Don't Go Yet by Camila Cabello. Is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah.
I think it's just such a hot, sexy song, and I loved how they opened up in the black and white.
Black and white. That was cool.
And then they went to full color. So that was one of the ones that I starred. So best performance. Do you have a best performance of the night?
No, I don't.
Foo Fighters to me.
Foo Fighters,
Foo Fighters were... It was almost like, and that was after the kind of weak hour in the middle.
Right. Here's what I was going to say. Right. So we can go back in order. So Camilla comes on, then Shawn Mendes, which I don't know that there's a better looking young guy out there. Like the guy's literally,
I would kill him.
I want to punch him in the face.
Right. Yeah. You can only hope he has a small penis. That's, I mean, it's the only hope. There's only justice in this world.
And then it goes to Doja Cat, I think.
Yes.
And that was fine.
She was doing like a pink kind of thing. Like she was suspended in the air. Exactly. I've seen it. Yeah.
Seen it.
Yeah.
And then it goes to Chloe. And I wrote, who?
Yes.
This is where I started to fall apart.
Joe, if you could see my notes, I wrote it down with a I guess you can't see that, with a frowny face. I was like, have mercy, because I think that was I had to look up the name of the song, Have Mercy. And
and
I wrote
goes to Normani, right? And
my note with Normani was just another ex-stripper.
Right. I was going nuts because I was like, listen, man, here's on my daily rotation. I wake up to FM radio, pop 96.9, the Pulse.
Which,
FM.
by the way, you said that in a recent show, and a number of people were like, Joe still wakes up to FM radio? I think 100%. That's cool. That's
it's on an Alexa, and right before I go to sleep, I said, Alexa, set alarm for 7 a.m. to Pulse FM.
Right.
It wakes up, so Ed Sheeran, Bad Habits comes on the next
So that's your local Raleigh pop station.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I also listen to the Hits One on Sirius XM often in my car when I'm just running a quick errand.
Me too. Yep.
Never heard Chloe on there. And I listen to the hip hop stations. So even if you're going to say she's hip hop, she's not on the Heat or the other hip hop station, nor is Normani. I've heard of her featured on hip hop records. Like, it was almost like they ran out of ideas.
Correct.
Now, I know Azuma's huge.
Well, I don't. Hang on one second.
Okay.
I don't know if that ran out of ideas, or maybe they're hoping. I mean, if Chloe's everywhere in 3 months, you could say, "Wow, MTV was ahead of the curve."
Okay.
So I think maybe they're also trying to kind of like a club DJ saying, "Hey, I'm going to spin this song before anybody else does."
Totally.
So I think there might be something there where MTV is saying, "We're going to put up some no-brainers. We're going to give you Justin Bieber and Ed Sheeran and the no-brainers, but we're also going to introduce you, hopefully, to some of tomorrow's stars." There could be
totally
some
fair.
Of
Okay.
yeah.
But then is Azuma, I mean, as big as like J Balvin or like Bad Bunny? Like, why were they not available?
I don't know, but I actually enjoyed that performance. There was something
with
at
the
some
bunny
point with
heads
the giant dance. I thought they were bears, but at some point, it's funny because I didn't have an edible, but I felt like, man, I wish I was high for this because I was like, this would be a cool performance if I was a little high.
Right.
But yeah, I thought that one was fun. And then,
well, hold on. Let me go back to the Foo Fighters. Okay. Sorry, I jumped. Foo Fighters, they got to do like 3 or 4 song quick medley. They were getting some Vanguard award or whatever. Yeah,
which Billie Eilish presented to.
That's
them.
right. Yeah. It went. I think Everlong or something like that, or Hero maybe to start. I can't remember. And then they went to a song I think off their new record.
That's their new one.
Back to the classics, and I was like, I wish you. Just stick to the classics is what I wrote on my thing.
Yeah, but see, again, you got to sell the new record, dude. I get it. You know what I mean? That's why we started the show with you talking about my seminar. You got to squeeze in you know, yeah.
But the best part of it, Mike, and he does it a lot. Like he does a lot. He always like screams and stuff off camera, which is just further destroying Dave Grohl's voice. Right. He finishes, and I don't know if he whipped the pick out in the audience, but he go back and watch it. He goes, "Take that, motherfuckers," or something like that. Right. Like as if like we just sat through 2.5 hours of just absolute
and here's some
rubbish.
Real music.
Let me just show you what rock and roll is going to be. And you see him go walk off the mic like right before it, and he just looks at the crowd. He's like, "Take that, motherfuckers!" It was awesome.
So here's 2 things I want to say about that performance. First of all, it was my favorite of the night. I loved the staging where there were videos behind,
that was cool.
but also underneath
on the floor.
Them.
That was
crazy. So the overhead shot showed those videos, and I like how at times the videos were like probably 10 feet by 12, but then they were like 4 by 4s. They were different sizes,
clips,
and they were They were basically like recaps of their career, tiles, exactly. Yeah. I felt like the Foo Fighters were auditioning for the Super Bowl halftime because and they've never done that, right? I meant to look that up. Yeah,
not that I know.
I felt like between the way they did the quick medley, which is what you pretty much have to do when you got the Super Bowl halftime. I was like, I feel like they're saying to the NFL, "Hey, what about us?" You know what I mean? Who knows? Who knows if they'll get selected? But I when I was watching it, I'm like, wow, they're perfect they should be the halftime this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's an article here, but I don't want to get into it. In 2018, he explains why, but it doesn't. I don't want to get. The article's too long for me to summarize. But
what do you mean?
It said Dave Grohl explains why he's never done the Super Bowl, and I think they got passed over a bunch for like the.
So now they're like, screw you because you didn't ask yet.
Right.
Yeah. Any awards?
I mean, they've been together like 26 years.
I know, right?
Nothing like shocking. I felt like Bieber won a few. Nas X won, I think, the biggest award, maybe Video of the Year. Isn't it funny that like the awards are like the last thing we're even talking about?
Yeah, because the show, even though it's an award show, it's kind of not really even about that.
Like a mini concert. Or...
Similar to the Grammys, they give more awards away off camera and before than like the Oscars. Pretty much what you see is during the show, other than some of the scientific ones or technical ones. But yeah, I mean, I think they wound up giving like 40 awards away, and 8 of them were on the show. The only thing that jumped out, first of all, they have an award now for best K-pop, which, I mean, first of all, I was like, well, BTS, I mean, duh, and then they wound up winning it. But I'm like, MTV's smart that way because next year, K-pop might not be a hot thing, and they'll just drop that award. But I like the fact that they're like, oh, something hot and new, we'll just create an award for it.
We'll jump on it. Yeah.
And then the shocking thing to me was they had an award for best collaboration, which I didn't even, again, I don't know if that's a new thing or whatever. And WAP didn't win that. I was like, how can WAP not win that? And it was the Doja Cat Kiss Me More.
Oh, right.
Which was a great collaboration, but I'm like,
great song, yeah.
But everybody talked about WAP last year. It was the biggest video and everything else. That just kind of shocked
I
me
also still get confused about, is the award for the song or is
the video.
it for the
video?
video?
I don't know. Yeah,
right.
I mean, I
it's
think
called
MTV's
the video.
Like, I don't care. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Video.
Yeah. You know, it reminded me once. I remember Marcello talking to a few DJs about the games that he plays at bar mitzvahs.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying, well, who cares who wins? It's not about the game. It's not about the who wins. It's about the activity and taking up the time at the party and everything, not wasting time, but you know what I mean? And I was like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. Like, who cares which kid wins Coke and Pepsi? Sure. It's all about and I think MTV kind of has that feel. They're like, it doesn't really matter who wins. We're just giving out a bunch of awards. Like we'll just
put on a little show. Right.
Yeah. Exactly. A little show that happens to then have a couple of awards. Yeah. Best New Artist, Olivia Rodrigo was a no-brainer. Video of the Year went to Lil Nas X, so that was the big one. Yeah. I mean, nothing really blew me away except, like I said, best collaboration. I was like, well, I'm about to see Cardi B. I'm about to see WAP, and they didn't.
Right.
So let's finish with talking about Doja Cat.
Okay.
Who was the MC?
Wait, real quick.
Oh, okay.
Did you like Machine Gun Kelly as the closer?
Yeah, I liked him. I mean, I thought Foo Fighters is, similar hard rock style. I thought Foo Fighters blew them away. But right. I like that. Again, I mean, smashing the car at the end, it's been done. I've seen it a million times. Right. I didn't, but I wrote great show closer. It was a great way to go out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Same.
Did you hear about the drama on the red carpet with him? Yeah. Who's the MMA
that's guy? Idiot Conor McGregor. He wants to fight somebody everywhere.
Apparently, they got into like a
he threw his drink across the.
Crazy.
I don't know. He wouldn't take a picture with him or something.
Yeah, something like that. It would have been fun though if they
great fight. Yeah.
Like got into a fight. I think he'd kick Machine Gun Kelly's ass, wouldn't he?
Probably, but he's really short.
Yeah,
Machine Gun Kelly's got reach, but I don't know. I feel like he's a professional fighter.
Yeah. So as an MC, what did you think of Doja Cat?
She did okay, man. She got a little. There was some parts, man, where she just kind of lost me. Or this is where a good MC or a good host really holds it together. Like I felt like she was referencing some stuff that was happening either in the crowd or between sets or something. Did you get that impression?
That didn't make sense to the viewer.
Yeah, that didn't make sense.
I can see what you're talking about. Yeah.
And it was like, oh, some people don't know how to behave. Like, I remember towards the end, she just kind of started falling apart and even a few times just totally missed the red light coming on almost.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we're on camera.
Yeah. Start talking, girl.
And then the costumes were just
the costumes. But you know what, Joe? That's what people were talking about. Right. Yeah. I mean,
that chair on her head thing.
Chair on her head and looking like a chicken at the end. And yeah, I mean, you can say what you will, and Tom Monaco, who's one of our top DJs, he put a few photos up, and he's like, "What the hell?" or whatever.
Yeah, right.
But she got people talking about her. You know what I mean? And I wasn't that impressed with her emceeing skills, but certainly, I mean, she stole part of the show with getting attention with those outfits. So
I agree.
Anyway, that was this year's VMAs.
Guys, thanks. Again, we encourage you always to watch stuff like this. I mean, you're a DJ. Keep up with new music.
Keep your finger on the pulse of pop culture.
Be in tune with the pulse of pop culture.
There you go.
We'll be back for another episode. Ciao.